So it's been a little while since I made that first video. I kind of wanted to talk about something pretty serious today. I started the channel because I wanted to help people kind of overcome depression and improve their lives. And I started to think, because I fell into a really deep depression, that I wasn't going to be able to do that. And I kind of snapped out of it pretty recently. Got pretty bad there for a while. Anyone who understands depression or knows somebody who goes through it or goes through it themselves knows that there's ups and downs, and there can be really, really deep downs. And this isn't something YouTube really likes, but the S word. I'm not even sure if I can say it, but we'll just call it the S word. Comes up a lot, and I guess I kind of wanted to explain what I go through, because I think a lot of people go through the same thing, especially young men, because I guess I don't feel like I belong in this world. I guess that's a strange concept probably for a lot of people, but I just feel like I don't belong in modern society. Like, nothing makes sense to me. I do have a full-time job. I have a 9-to-5 office job that I somehow maintain even with my issues, but it doesn't make sense to me. I study philosophy a lot, and I think it's the only thing that really helps me cope with all of this. But I know that I struggle because I don't have a personal God, that I don't have a deep, profound meaning beyond myself. And that can be something overcome, but the cross-section of nihilism and depression is a horrific thing. It feels almost like a death sentence. And I really try to cope the best I can with that. Recently I got out of it because of some YouTube channels, which I can recommend, as well as a book. I just put it up, but it's called The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. And I've kind of realized from that book, I just started it, and some videos I've been watching recently, that I have to do things that I don't want to do. For example, I don't want to record this and talk about my issues. It's not fun. It's hard to do. Depression gives you a lot of guilt. As a man, I feel like I'm not supposed to feel this way. So it's hard to talk about, but I'm trying to be a lot more open to talking about these things. And I think a really important thing to really think about if you suffer from depression or thoughts of harming yourself is that you need to be vocal about it, even though it's extremely difficult. It's an absolute truth that you have to do things that make you uncomfortable. You have to do things that you don't want to do, or you'll never improve. You'll just stagnate. And one thing I've really learned over the past few days, kind of getting out of this deep depression, is that depression and substance abuse, because I struggle a lot with drugs and alcohol to try to cope with the hopelessness and just horrible suffering that I have to go through. That depression is almost like a comfort, And if you suffer from depression, this is something you'll probably recognize, that you almost want to stay depressed and you want to just keep getting further and further into like the abyss of depression and thoughts of harming yourself. And drugs and alcohol definitely contribute to that, and it's almost like you want even more of that. You want to feel even worse. And one of the things brought up in that book was that to skirt away from your own suffering and pain, you develop like a neurosis of depression, and that neurosis eventually becomes way worse than depression. And part of the big thing about being depressed is loneliness, and it's almost like you're stuck in your own head. And the only way to get out of that is to talk to somebody about it. I mean, right now I'm just talking to a camera, but eventually maybe somebody will watch it and be able to talk about it, and maybe they'll be able to identify with it as well. So I really do want to like help somebody. I do feel like I live a completely meaningless existence. I even without a faith or God or anything like that, like Camus talks about in the myth of Sisyphus, that we can live a life even without that meaning. And life is a gift, and we have the choice to basically live as much as we can. But when you suffer from horrible things in your life, like every single day is awful and that there's no hope, then you start to think like maybe just end it and get it over with, because that's the end of it, that everything's meaningless, we all turn to dust, civilization will collapse, there's nothing more. And that's something extremely difficult to deal with. This all compounded is very hard, and I know that a lot of people feel this, and it really breaks my heart that there's so many people out there that feel completely alone, like there's no one that they can talk to. I think that this is a good platform maybe for people to speak about it. I know I've seen videos like this before, which is I guess kind of why I wanted to make the video. Maybe it's cathartic for me, maybe it'll help somebody. I'm not sure, but I know I really do want to contribute something good to this world, because I don't want to live, a completely meaningless, purposeless existence alone, giving nothing back to anybody. I guess maybe that this is a way of doing it, and I need to just stay on track with this. I have to have basically constant reminders that maybe there is some hope, that I can be better. And really, I'm telling you right now that I will fail, I'll stumble again in the future. It's becoming less and less frequent, which is good. But really the only way forward is to endure the pain of the things you don't want to do, of getting out of your comfort zone, of improving yourself. That is really the only way that you escape from this thing. And I'm telling you, if you have feelings like that, you have to take a step back, look at the things that you can improve in your life, even if it's the smallest thing, even if it's eating better or cleaning up your house, your room, of maybe socializing more, getting out of the house. That's one little step in the right direction. And really, if you feel this way and you feel like I do, it's really your only option. Is that or you die. That's really it. Loneliness is probably the hardest part about being an odd person, because I can definitely say for sure I'm an odd person. I struggle socially a lot. I'd say I kind of don't really understand how to talk to people very well. I can be very outgoing. However, I think my big issue is depression, and then as I start to get depressed, I start to think negatively, and that negativity makes me, I guess, like an unattractive person for friends, for, you know, the opposite sex, for whatever type of relationship. I find it very hard to maintain any relationship with anybody because of those issues. So it's like, it just makes everything worse. It's like I do it to myself, and I make everything worse because I don't put in the effort to be better. That I just give up and I go to, you know, drugs and alcohol to cope with these things, because I can't face that suffering anymore, and I don't want to be that weak person. I don't want to die, you know. I want to choose to live, and we have a choice every day of doing the easy thing and never growing as a person, or choosing to do the things that you don't want to do, the things that you know you should do but are uncomfortable, maybe painful, maybe scary, and those are the things that you absolutely have to do. And what I'm trying to do right now is challenge myself that at least twice a day to do things that I don't want to do. Today I didn't really want to read, and I read some of that book, and I didn't want to make this video, but you know, I'm feeling better already about it. And you know, I do have hope, because I can do it, and hell, if I can do it, then I think you can too. You might think that you're hopeless and lost and that things will never get better, and I've lived that. I've lived that for so long. I've been on, you know, the precipice, the edge of death multiple times, and still here to tell about it. And if you choose to get better, you can get better. That's something you really have to internalize in yourself. And there are some resources. I mean, if therapy works for you, then you should use it. It didn't for me, because it just doesn't work for me personally. It's not about feelings, it's more about, you know, existential hopelessness and things like that I really have to like cope with. But you should use that, but also you should talk to people. You should do things that are better for yourself. And I guess you guys can let me know what you think about, you know, this format of video. I think this kind of fits my personality pretty well. You know, I still want to do the fitness thing, but I definitely want to focus a lot on, you know, the mental health aspect, the philosophy aspect, because I think that's what I can really speak on the most. And I want to stay strong, so that I can, you know, help anyone else that goes through this as well, so that I can help you be strong as well. And I guess let me know what you think about this kind of video and what I had to say. And please, if you have any, you know, thoughts or comments, or you just want to speak your mind a bit, then please let me know and we can talk about it more, and maybe I can address it in some videos. But I want to get back to doing this and talking about things that are really important to me and that are important for society in general. And just stay tuned. Got more to talk about.